Welcome back to Recap Express. Today we'll be diving into a thriller and crime film from 2023 titled Reptile. In the beginning of the movie, we watch as Will Grady and Summer Ellswick, his girlfriend, tidy and get ready to list a new house for sale. Later, Summer talks about her latest dream in which she is stuck in a car that is going to be struck by a train when she is at the pool with her friend Renee. According to Renee, it represents Summer's fear of being discovered. As he drives to a presentation, Will gives Summer a call. After hearing her voicemail, he ends the call. Will receives feedback on his real estate marketing presentation from his mother, Camille. She believes he will succeed. After receiving a resounding cheer from his audience, Will starts to wonder where Summer is. Will is curious as to why Summer skipped his meeting that evening. She says she's gone to sleep. Will chooses to take a nap on the downstairs couch. Summer returns to the house they are attempting to sell the following day. She shouts that she's in the kitchen as she hears someone enter via the back door while she's messaging Will on her phone. Will executes a contract for the sale of a foreclosed property at the same moment. After leaving the company, he opens a text message from Summer. She's cleaning the house and she wants him to come. When Will gets to the house, he starts looking for Summer. In an upstairs bedroom, he discovers her lifeless on the ground, with a knife embedded in her lower abdomen. Tom Nichols shows up to a celebration with his wife Judy Nichols. Tom investigates homicides. Judy's uncle Robert gives her a hug. Tom collaborates with a police captain named Robert. Wally is there too. He is one of their drug enforcement colleagues. Robert gets up from the table to answer a crucial phone call. He needs to go look into a homicide with Tom. Robert tells Tom as he's driving that he only found out last week that he has MS. When they get to the crime scene, a lot of police cars are present, and people are curious about what happened. Tom's partner Dan is there already and gives them a briefing. Their realtor has passed away. They investigate the body upstairs. Dan says the knife is lodged in her pelvis because the wound was so severe. Tom questions the woman who lives next door outside. She informs him that she heard a car while she was outside and that she saw a man enter the house. He walked strangely and had a sweatshirt on, but that was all she could make out. As Tom patrols the area, he finds two trees with cameras mounted on them. Tom and Will later meet at the police station. Will reveals to Tom that he spent around a year and a half dating Summer. Summer was already married to Sam Gifford, but Will still desired to be married to her. Will provides the authorities with his fingerprints, a DNA sample, and pictures. After talking about the situation, Wally, Tom, and Robert decide to let Will go. Tom returns home early in the morning after working through the night. A large-scale home restoration is still being worked on by the contractors. The contractor, Peter, apologizes for his mistake that led to a portion of the kitchen collapsing. He assures Tom that the additional work required to correct it won't be billed. Given Tom's experience, Chief of Police Marty wants to know if Robert believes Tom is the most qualified detective to head the investigation. Bob wants Tom to take the lead. Subsequently, Marty provides an update on the murder investigation to the reporters and other interested parties. Tom and Dan review the footage captured by the cameras mounted on the trees back at the station. They believe the vehicle to be a blue or purple Buick LeSabre from 1990. Dan notices the car is missing a hubcap. Later, Tom and Dan visit Will at his home. Will lets Tom keep the picture of Summer and her husband Sam. Eli is seen in his apartment as a police scanner is audible. Meanwhile, Tom and Dan show Renee a picture of Sam, and she tells them she doesn't know him. Later, Tom and Dan visit Sam's house. They tell him that Summer was stabbed and is dead. He tells them that he was alone fishing on the day they said Summer was killed. He doesn't want to talk, tells them they're done, and closes the door. That evening at a dance hall, Wally hands out key rings bearing the emblem of his side business to every person seated at his table. It's called Active Duty Security Consulting, his company. Dan receives a sales report from Tom the following day. Summer reportedly closed 6 sales without receiving a commission. Eli wants to enter Camille's house that evening, but Will forbids him. Dan informs Tom the following day that Summer's phone rang the night before she was slain at a town 45 minutes away. Tom recalls that Summer sold a house there 14 months ago, but he questions her motivation for returning. When Tom arrives by car, he finds that the property is a rural church. Upon entering, he notices that Summer's wrist still has the same kind of paint on it. Tom is informed by the church custodian that volunteers will be painting the building. He is unable to identify the Buick or the image of Sam and Summer. After Summer's funeral, Will pulls up in his car outside the church and approaches Tom. Will informs Tom about Eli's attempt a few nights earlier to break into his mother's home. He informs him that Eli's father committed himself not long after Will's father purchased the family farm from Eli's father years before. I believe Eli is blaming his family. Tom tells him that there is nothing he can do about Eli. Tom later receives the phone logs for the previous 3 months from a police officer. She informs him that the FBI has verified that Summer called them with concerns over drug activities, and they have provided her with the DEA's number. She never phoned the DEA, according to them. Dan and Tom pay Eli a visit. He is questioned about Will and his presence at the residence where Summer was murdered. Eli believes Will killed Summer, and that both of them are dishonest people. He says he heard about the crime on his police scanner and decided to visit the scene in the hopes of seeing Will taken into custody. They depart when he refuses to give them a DNA sample. Tom, Dan, Robert, and Marty meet later to talk about the case. At the lake where Summer's husband claimed to be fishing at the time of the murder, they found evidence of his car. Summer called the FBI over drugs, but there is no documentation of her calling their division. Tom and Dan later run into Renee once more. She informs them that Summer and her husband Sam were still dating. Her ex didn't want her speaking to the police, so she hadn't told them before. Sam and her ex-partner sell heroin and cocaine. Afterwards, Will meets with Tom, Dan, and Robert to discuss what transpired the night he discovered Summer. Will says he went in, called for her, and attempted CPR. They head to Sam's house after Tom receives a call while they're at the house. As he drives to Sam's house, Dan gives the local police orders to surround Sam's home, but to stay away from him. Tom and Dan walk inside Sam's home. They're shooting all of a sudden. Sam reached for Dan's pistol. Sam leaps out of the window as Tom fires back at him. Sam is shot in the back by Tom, who finally discovers him dead after pursuing him. 13 kg of heroin have been discovered so far, according to Wally. Tom sees Wally taping the heroin box with a tape that doesn't look like any other. The following evening, Tom converses with Robert outside of a party. Robert informs him that Dan's life has been saved, and that he has been nominated for the Medal of Valor. Eli, in the meantime, recognizes a man on the news when she watches TV. The man who works for Will and his mother is the same one that was pulled from an automobile accident. 13 kilograms of heroin were discovered in his car after the cops removed him from the wrecked vehicle. Simultaneously, Tom observes the accident coverage and notes that the heroin packages bear the identical tape that Wally used on the 13 kilograms of heroin discovered at Sam's residence. Later on in the evening, Tom receives a call and responds to a break-in at Will's company's business office. Although the front glass door is damaged, Will believes that nothing was taken. When Dan asks whether Eli was the one, Will responds that nothing that he knows of was taken. Judy is awakened by a sound outside while Tom is investigating the break-in and driving home. She looks into it. Tom finds a lot of water leaking into the driveway from the backyard when he gets home. He enters the gate to find Judy brandishing a pistol at him and Eli kneeling by the pool. She had already contacted the police and explained to Tom that she had shot the pool by mistake while attempting to frighten Eli away while he was prowling around. Eli informs Tom that a business named Whitefish was defrauding Summer. He asks Tom if he is familiar with Rudy Ricacci, Will and his mother's employee. 13 kg of heroin were found on Rudy. Eli tells Tom that Will was laundering drug money as he is being swiftly carried away by uniformed police officials. Tom discovers a USB thumb drive that Eli left behind after he is taken away. Tom examines the files on the thumb drive the following day. When Dan gets there, Tom walks into the bathroom to finish going over his files since he doesn't know who to trust. Copies of the asset forfeiture paperwork and records of Summer's real estate transactions are present. A spreadsheet lists Whitefish Assets, Inc. as the buyer of civil asset foreclosure properties several times. Tom soon finds out that none of those sales resulted in a commission for Summer. Tom goes to the city records office to inquire about civil asset forfeitures related to drug use. When he goes to one of the houses, he notices that Camille is the broker listed on the for sale sign. Tom finds out when he phones his confidential contact that Whitefish is no longer in operation and that the sole address is an abandoned post office box. Tom then feels that someone is pursuing him. Then his source informs him that Active Duty Consulting, a different business, is located at the same address. Tom recognizes Wally's company right away. Ricacci worked for the police department for years as a confidential informant, Tom finds out after contacting the police evidence office. He confirms that the tape he saw Wally apply to Sam's heroin package matches the one on one of the heroin packages Rakachi was found in. Then he finds out that Wally sent the parcels from Sam's house to be disposed of the morning before Rakachi was taken into custody and his evidence was kept in storage. Tom then exits the house and makes a call to ask for Rakachi's phone logs. Tom finds out about Rakachi's phone records after going over the data on the flash drive that evening. It appears that on the day of Summer's murder, Rakachi made 17 calls to a number that ended in 3586. Tom dials the number, and Camille's home phone rings. Eli will be released from jail on bail later. It is said to him that Lilk bail bonds covered his bail. When he gets back to his flat, he finds Will there. Then he notices that there is someone behind him, but they are hidden. Wally takes a seat while Tom is at the police station's lunchroom the following day. He gently advises Tom to keep quiet about Wally's illicit drug-dealing operations. Tom visits Eli's residence later. Tom exits since Eli is not inside. He receives a second call regarding Rakachi's phone records while outside. He made 17 calls to 3586, which is associated with a property trust that is classified as W6. Tom takes out the thumb drive and inserts it into his boot the following morning. He attends Robert's birthday celebration with Judy. Robert says to Tom that he would like to discuss anything with him. Wally fixes multiple glances at Tom as he walks by, but Tom avoids making eye contact. At some point, Wally walks up to Tom and inquires as to why he's avoiding him. Tom says he wasn't trying to avoid Wally. Tom visits Robert upstairs for a conversation. As he removes the thumb drive from his boot and prepares to inform Robert of his concerns, Robert informs Tom that he will be receiving the Medal of Valor. Replacing the thumb drive in his boot, Tom does so. Wally shows up at that precise moment and congratulates Tom. Later, Tom detects a car and lifts the cover when he enters Robert's garage to check on his refrigerator. He finds out that it was painted, and the original hue was purple. Robert shows up. Tom informs him that the vehicle is identical to the one at the scene of Summer's murder, a Chrysler Imperial. Robert says he's keeping it for someone, but he won't reveal to him who the owner is. Judy questions Tom on the way home about why he failed to inform her that the medal came with $20,000. Tom implies that he was unaware. Abruptly, they are stopped by a police vehicle. Tom was driving, as the police said, and he stopped them because Tom failed to stop completely at the last stop sign. Tom has doubts. Tom just receives a warning from the police, who also orders him to follow Tom home. He then gives Tom his congratulations on winning the medal. Judy is curious as to what's going on. Tom informs her that Wally and Will are in charge of Whitefish. When Wally installs narcotics in homes, the properties are taken. Whitefish then purchases the homes. Summer was the sales representative, but she received no compensation and had no idea what they were doing. She was going to call the DEA or FBI as soon as she learned what they were up to. Consequently, they killed her. Judy feels that Tom ought to inform Robert, but Tom assures her that the Chrysler is in his garage and he most likely knows. Robert calls, and before Tom can answer, he tells Judy to get ready because they are going to bed somewhere else. The following morning, Robert would like Tom to come see him so he can explain everything. Wally is assured by Robert that everything would be all right and that Tom has previously kept his mouth shut. Robert then hangs up. Tom meets with Marty, the chief of police, later that evening. He shares the documents with Marty, tells him about his suspicions, and clarifies that he hasn't told anybody else. Tom and Marty drove to Robert's residence early the following morning. Robert offers them coffee and extends an invitation inside. When Robert inquires as to whether their visit is related to the car, Tom responds that they also want to talk about other topics. Marty responds that he'll be there after using the restroom, and Robert proposes they have a conversation upstairs. Robert instructs Tom to leave when Marty leaves. They know everything since he gave Marty the thumb drive. Robert gets shot just as he reaches the top of the stairs. Marty tries to shoot Tom as he confronts him, but Tom fires first. Wally and Tom are aiming their firearms at one another. When the outside window is struck by a frisbee, Wally becomes sidetracked. Wally fires at Tom after Tom shoots him. Despite his wounds, Tom accepts Wally's pistol and settles in. When Wally begs Tom to murder him, Tom simply dials 911. Tom returns to Judy, his wife. Afterwards, Will is being arrested for playing golf when two golf carts with FBI agents pull up. I appreciate you seeing. We hope this movie synopsis was enjoyable. Visit our channel to see more content similar to this one. See you on the next one, we hope.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this to help the channel out. Have a nice day.